The next thing we're going to show you is how to use multipliers in different contexts, slightly different, when we're using things or talking about things called appreciation and depreciation. Now, appreciation, if something appreciates, it increases in value, so the value goes up. If something depreciates, the value goes down. Okay, now, the idea is that we start with 100%. So if something appreciates, it goes from 100% up the way. Let's move this. If we have a depreciation, it starts with 100% and goes down the way to a different. Most of the questions you will have will say something appreciates by this many percent. So let's say, for example, an antique vase appreciates by 14%. Now if you start with 100%, you've gone from 100 plus 14, it's now worth 114% of what it was. So then the multiplier is 1.14. Remember how we did this? It's 1 plus 14 over 100. Your calculator will tell you, we'll go straight from this calculation here, we'll go straight from 1 plus your new percentage, or your percentage appreciation over 100, divide by 100, will take you straight to 1.14. What you'll do with this multiplier is exactly the same as we did with compound interest. You'll multiply by the value. So if the old value, or the original value, was £600, the new value is 600 times 1.14, which works out as £684. Let's look at that over the next page in a different way. I'm going to change the way I'm writing this working down, because this will make more sense when we come to talk about depreciation as well, and going backwards. What I'm going to do is arrange the information in a table where I've got my original amount and I've got my new amount. Now I know I start with 100%, the whole thing, and that's worth £600. What I want to work out is what's happened to that 100%. Well, I started with 100 and I added 14 on. That's my appreciation of 14. So I get 114%. What I need to do is link together these numbers, and 100 to 600 means a multiplying of 6. You do exactly the same here to keep it in proportion. So if I multiply 114 by 6, I'll work out it's £684. So the new price, or the new value, or the new cost is going to be 684. Now, using the idea of a multiplier, what you could do is go from 100 to 114, and you could do exactly the same thing from 600 to 684. But you can see it's much easier to link together the 100 and the 600 by a factor of 6, and do exactly the same with this 114 to move it up to 684. Now, let's have another example. Let's say we have a car that's worth £15,000, and the moment you take it out of the showroom, it drops in value. Let's say over the first year it depreciates by 22%, and we want to work out what its new value is. So let's write down all the information we've got. We've got the original, and we've got the new. We started with 100%, which is worth 15,000. If we've got a depreciation, it means it's reduced by 22%, which gives us 78%. Now looking from 100 to 15,000, we multiply by 150. Now we'd need our calculators to work this out probably. To be quick, 78 times 150 will give us 11700. So the new value is going to be £11,700. Just to make absolutely sure you know, I just forgot to put the times 150 in. That's how we get from 78 to 11,700. Okay. Using the table above, have a look at these 3 questions. Try them out, pause the video, and then I'll give the answers on the right hand side. So pause the video now and have a go yourself using the template or the structure of the table at the top. So here are the answers on the right hand side. Check and see how well you did. Sometimes we have to work out what's happening the other way. So let's say that something has happened already. We need to find out what the original value was, or the original cost was. So let's say that something has happened, and for the sake of argument, let's say we've got a bill, a restaurant bill, which comes to 143 pounds. Okay. Now that is with an additional 10% service charge added on. So that's been added on. So what we've actually got is that £143 is not worth 100%. So what we've got is the original, which we want. This is the one we want to find out now. We've actually got information about the new cost. The new cost is £143. But how many percent is it worth? If we've added 10% on to the original cost, it is now 110%. What do we want over here? Well, of course we want 100%. We want to work out what it was before that 10% was added on. So what we're going to do is use the multiplier between 110 and 100. Okay. Now, from 110 to 100%, what we're going to do is divide by 1.10. It looks exactly like our percentage here, but obviously the decimal point is just up here. So that's 1.10, which looks like 110, but we're going to use that decimal multiplier to get back to 100%. Now, if you're thinking in the right way, what we have to do is exactly the same with this 143. We have to divide by 110. We don't divide by 110, that's just nonsense. We divide by 1.10, we divide by 110%. So 1.10 is what we divide by here at the top to go from 110 back to 100. We do exactly the same with 143 to get back to our original cost. And if we do that calculation, 143 divided by 1.10, we get to our original cost. So the bill would have been £130 had we not added 10% onto it. Let's have a look at another example. Let's say a car again has depreciated by 23% and is now worth £6,160. So we want the original cost, or the original value. What we're going to do is we've got our original over here and we've got our new. Now the information we've got in the question is about our new value. The new cost, the new value is 6160. We want to know this one here. What we do need to know is our multiplier, which is going to go here, or the percentage we've now got. Sorry, that arrow was making me a bit dizzy, don't know about you lot. Right, so if it's depreciated by 23%, we had 100% to start with, which is what we want our answer to be. If it's depreciated by 23%, that will be 100 minus 23, which gives us 77%. Now the multiplier for 77%, what we've got to do is use the multiplier for this number and divide, even though it's going to be a decimal number, less than 1, we'll divide by the multiplier to get back to 100%. So our multiplier will be 0.77. We're going to divide by 0.77. Now I think this is the most difficult bit. It's understanding that you're dividing to go back the way. You're reversing the change. So some change has been made using the multiplier. So we would have multiplied in the first place to get from 100 over to 77. We want to reverse that change. So we use a divide to get from 77 back to 100. If we do the same thing with this number here, divide by 0.77, we'll get our original cost. So if you do 6160 divided by 0.77, you get exactly £8,000. Okay, there are 3 examples on the right hand side here. Use the same template. If you need to go back a wee bit, copy down the working we did for the previous one, that's fine, but use the same kind of idea. Use the multiplier and divide, because you're working out 100% the original cost. So what we've got here, let me just show you. We have a 25% appreciation. So first of all, you have to work out what this new percentage is, having been appreciated by 25%. The new value is 765, so that value goes here. You're then needing to use the multiplier to go back the way from 765 to this number here. Okay. Any problems? Come and see me. Pause the video now. I'll write the values or the answers on the left hand side just at the bottom here, but give yourself a few minutes to work out these answers. Pause the video now and then start it again when you've got the answers. Here are the answers on the left hand side, folks. Check them with what you've got. If there's any problems, speak to me in class. I hope you've got all these answers correct. Alright, see you soon. That's it for now.